No, you all tell me to go and hide my tail between my legs. I will not no longer put up with this shit. I have been beaten. I have had my nose broken. I have been thrown in jail. I have lost my job. I have lost my apartment for gay liberation. And you all treat me this way? What the fuck's wrong with you all?
Raya Milton, Dominique Ramey Fells, Nina Pop, and Tony McDade are just 4 of the 14 lost this year to fatal violence against the trans and gender nonconforming community. This violence is horrific, but unfortunately, it is nothing new. The Human Rights Campaign has even been tracking this violence for the past few years, and they've discovered that in 2017, at least 29 gender nonconforming and trans individuals were victims of fatal violence. In 2018, that number was 26, and in 2019, again, 26 were victims of fatal violence. Many were under the age of 30, and most were people of color. And let's never forget that these numbers are only what have been correctly identified and reported. This violence can be seen all over America, and right now it can be pointed straight to the federal government. Meet Roger Severino. He's the Director of Civil Rights in the Department of Health and Human Services. He was elected by Donald Trump in 2017. He is a devout Catholic and conservative, and he has been cited stating, and I quote, "Gender identity and sexual orientation are changeable, self-reported, and entirely self-defined characteristics and should not be protected under the federal civil rights statutes." This reptilian man is not the only transphobe in a position of power in this administration, and so, lo and behold, there are gross violations of human rights occurring. Let's see the damage that has been done, starting in 2017. In 2017, you see that any mention of LGBTQ individuals is removed from the White House website. The Department of Education withdraws protections for trans students under Title IX. Trump nominates Matthew J. Kacsmaryk to serve as a U.S. District Judge for the Northern District of Texas. Kacsmaryk has been cited stating that he believes trans people are an illusion, and he opposes housing, employment, and healthcare for the LGBT community. He was sworn in 2019. The Justice Department released a memo telling its attorneys to take the legal position that federal law does not protect trans workers from discrimination, and so much more. But we have 3 more years to go, so let's move on to 2018. 2018, the Bureau of Prisons adopts an illegal policy that forces trans people to be housed in prisons that match their sex assigned at birth. The U.S. representatives at the UN remove any mention of trans folk in the UN human rights documents. Trump tweets out his intention to have a trans military ban. 2019, the trans military ban. When requesting grants from HHS, homeless shelters and hospitals don't need to cite that they have non-discriminatory policies towards the LGBTQ+ community, and employers can now cite, quote, religious criteria, end quote, as a reason to discriminate against the LGBTQ+ community in employment. Here we are, y'all, 2020. Y'all, it's only been 5 months and the Department of Education has set a ban in Connecticut against trans students playing school sports, stating that any school that does not comply with this ban is at risk of losing federal funding. The same department encourages schools to weaken protection for LGBTQ students who have survived sexual violence and harassment, and now rolling back trans protection in healthcare, stating the anti-discrimination provisions apply only to male or female as determined by biology. This is the America we live in, and we cannot forget about our trans brothers and sisters in this fight for equality, because their rights are being stripped year after year. So what can we do? Great question. If you go into my bio, there is a link tree that will link you to organizations dedicated to helping elevate the voices of the trans community and information and sources I used in this project as a whole. Also, there's some powerful people you can follow. I'll link them right here. So if you have the means, please donate. If you have the time, please volunteer.
You will not tell me that you accept me. You will not tell me that you tolerate me. That is not your power. I take that from you. You will respect me for who I am.